Hello, hello. So let's see what's going on here. Says here, Issa Rae says studio cancellations of black shows, capital, have her considering the indie route. You're seeing very clearly our stories are less of a priority. Or you don't have a big fan base. I like I know the name Issa Rae, and I would assume whatever show, black show she's on, not many people watch it. Like there's no way a lot of people are watching those shows. And a lot of shows that don't have a big audience get canceled. They can't just keep a show on just because you're black. Like it has to have a following. You're going to make less money in the indie route. And I doubt you're doing this just because you want to tell black stories. I certainly wouldn't watch any of the nonsense that they have. I'm not going to watch any BT nonsense or any of these goddamn so-called black shows where it's mostly just glamorizing criminals. Like it's weird the way they glamorize criminals while at the same time talk about how cops are like unfairly attacking black people and all this stuff. It's just like why do you have this stuff in the black community? And besides, like I'm Caribbean. I get that it's a completely different thing with black Americans. It's just like it's a completely different thing. But there's this whole thing where they show a lot of these shows that get popular with just a black cast. They show literal criminals doing this stuff, and they're just like it's like you're glamorizing. There's not You can't call this a black story when you're literally glamorizing criminals. Like, why is that a black experience to be a criminal? Like, are you trying to create a narrative that you're also complaining against? Are you saying people are get? It's just it's just weird, man. Just call it a freaking a story that you're telling. Don't call it a black story if the things that you're showing doesn't show us in a good light. Like it's just not a good look at all. Anyways, Issa Rae's career as a Hollywood writer producer, she writes, has included 4 stories developed through the studio system, but she says that recent industry tides have her considering alternate avenues as a creator in the future. You're seeing so many black shows get canceled. You're seeing so many executives, especially on the DEI side, get canned. Of course, executives on the DEI get canned. It's a nonsense job. The diversity inclusion, like it's a nonsense job. It's a job that people literally created for themselves through activism, but it doesn't add anything. If your job doesn't create anything, why are people paying you? You're just a deficit to them. Of course they're going to get rid of you. You're seeing very clearly now that our stories are less of a priority, she says in a cover story. Like this is all cope. She's coping for a net a Porter's digital publication, Porter. It's made me take more steps to try to be independent down the line if I have to. If you have to, I don't know who the hell is going to pay you to be independent, because if you can't make money through the industry and your show's getting canceled, your shows are probably trash. And if you go the independent route, ain't nobody going to watch it. Want to watch? Less people are going to want to watch it. So you're not going to be making money there either. So you're not going to do the independent thing. Like it's just not going to happen. There's just no money in it. Ray's currently under a 5-year overall deal with the conglomerate that was known as Warner Media, which he signed in 2021, an extension of the relationship with HBO that began in 2016, just before Emmy-nominated comedy Insecure premiered. I don't know what Insecure is. I think I've seen a promo for it, but like didn't look like anything I wanted to see. Earlier this month, Max canceled her comedy rap shit after 2 seasons. Well, yeah, at least it got 2 seasons. It doesn't sound interesting at all. The prolific television creator who Hooray Hooray Banner, I guess her name is Issa Rae Hooray. Also made the Emmy nominated a Black Lady sketch show, which was canceled over the summer. I remember that nonsense, a Black Lady sketch show. I saw like some like clips of it on YouTube. Um, why is she doing so many comedies? Is she funny? Because she seemed to be failing a lot in comedy. Also has a thriving career as a film star, appearing in the three Oscar-nominated movies last year: American Fiction, Barbie. She was one of the many Barbies. Was she the Black Barbie? And Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse. I didn't watch any of those movies. In a satirical American fiction, she plays Arthur Sintara Golden, whose menstrual bestseller fuels protagonist Monk's plot to make up a similar memoir in order to make a point. It's an ironic role for the multi hyphenated whose work has been responsible for so many of the diverse and multidimensional depictions of Black women on screen. Is it really multidimensional? Because if you're talking about the Black Lady sketch show, which was one of the only things that she did that I actually saw, there wasn't much dimension there. It's the kind of thing I would expect from any other Black female comedian. Like they all pretty much do the same thing. Like it's nothing new, it's not groundbreaking, it's definitely not multidimensional. They have one idea and they beat it to the ground. When Insecure came out, I was very clear this is not a story about all Black women. This is a very specific story. Clear to who? I was trying to see if I could recognize her face, but I don't. She continues to have been Monk, and I remember in Ray's pre-Insecure web series, the awkward Black girl days, and even prior to that, feeling so enraged about what wasn't being made and being made at who was in the spotlight at the time. Being mad at, okay, who was in spotlight at the time, because I was like, I know we're so much more than what's being presented here. I recognize that hunger of just wanting your work to be seen and attacking the wrong targets. So she was mad at people because uh, some other Black women were being presented and not her, because she wanted to tell the same stories. Those targets are not the Black portrayers who are making do with the opportunities available to them, but rather the source of that demand. I agree with Sintara's point that Monk's ire should be directed towards the white audiences. What the hell do white people do to you? Because they're not spending their money on you, they're discriminating. Do people not have the freedom to choose what they spend their money on? You weirdo. The white audiences that put very specific work about Black people on this pedestal as opposed to the more diverse representation of Blackness, she said. Doesn't Tyler Perry own a studio? Isn't he Black? Doesn't he talk about Black stories? Why don't you get him to do that? Why should white people who own their own businesses and have all this thing that they're doing, they're giving opportunities to a bunch of other creators. Why should they put your stuff on a pedestal because you're riding the diverse train that's going on right now? That's why these DEI people are losing their jobs, lady. Because the thought process like this, you have that mentality, a mentality of a failure. You want people to prop you up, not for your great creative works, but because of the color of your skin, something that a lot of other people have. Guess what? You're Black, but guess what? A bunch of other people that are Black are also the same. You're all at the same level, pretty much. Why should you get something as opposed to all those other people? You're not special at that point. If your only claim to fame is that, oh yeah, I'm the Black person doing this, then how are you special? How do you stand out? That's why you're not getting people's attention, and that's why your shows keep getting canceled, is because you're not doing anything special. You're just retelling a story that people have told before. And when you fail, you say, well, they don't respect my blackness or some nonsense that keep you in the same place. You have to, you have to grow. Like I don't like criticism. I certainly don't like it. And I certainly wouldn't take it kindly, but I'll take it and I'll build on it and I'll grow from it. But I'm definitely not going to give the people that criticize me satisfaction, but I'll still grow from criticism. But that's what you have to be in the world. Like no one likes being criticized. No one likes being told that they're not freaking special or they're not or their work or whatever they're doing is not great. No one really likes that. It's fine. Embrace that. I embrace the fact that I don't like it. But you have to grow. You have to look at what you're doing and see what's not working and do something else. You can't just be coasting on, oh my God, these people. I'm basically talking to no one at this point because they're not going to listen. They're just going to be coasting on this. I don't think it's a secret that many white, you see this whole racial jealousy that they have going on that is just, it's painful. It's painful how jealous these people are of white people. Like no matter how much they big themselves up and they talk about black is beautiful and all this stuff and black queens and black kings and all this stuff, they're all just very insecure and jealous. And critics tend to reward traumatizing depictions or that their own biased perceptions of what blackness is. People don't reward traumatizing depictions or their biased perceptions of what blackness is. Because the people creating these shows that are doing the traumatizing depictions and the biased perspectives are black people. Those are the people making the shows. The producers and the people signing off on checks basically aren't the ones doing it because they don't know those stories. And the reason those stories are successful is because of drama. And it's only successful temporarily, as you've learned from your own shows getting canceled. But she's far from giving up. I'm writing a couple of different projects, one for myself and one to produce and create with others. And I've been feeling so inspired and expected to get back at it. Ray says, the industry is in flux, so it's really inspired me to focus and honing on what stories I want to tell. Maybe this is another point that you need to think about. You're too focused on stories that you want to see. And you should be more focused on stories that the audience want to see. That leads the path to success. And you can combine the two. You can tell stories that you want to see in a way that the audience actually want to, that the audience actually would enjoy. I've been laser focused on, yeah, okay, good for you. Well, good luck to you and your black shows or whatever. Anyways, until next time.